So with BI 2025, we have some new things, and one of the most exciting things, at least I think of, is um, the new Webi widget framework that includes brand new elements that will allow us to create dashboards and export them to a new format called WIDX, and I'll refer to that as WidX. It's Web Intelligence Extract, and that allows you to share those dashboards with people outside of business objects. In other words, you can be disconnected from business objects and interact with a dashboard with all of the data. So this really gives you ability to unlock creativity like never before. Why? Because now I can share my dashboard and I can embed it into, for example, a SharePoint site or an external website or anything like that. And this new technology comes with screen capabilities for mobile devices, which will come out, I believe, in 2027. At least that's what I heard. David, you might be able to confirm that a little bit later. But the 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 ability now to share and to have people interact with these dashboards really elevates the ability of visual storytelling. And all of this WIDX, the WidX technology, is brought to us by SAP UI5. It's basically an HTML format that allows sharing of interactive dashboards. And you can go ahead and go to the next screenshot, Bruno, the next slide. Yep. So you can use your favorite browser to open it, consume it. You can share it, and it actually will appear after you export the Webi dashboard. It'll actually appear as a file, .widx file. And you double click it, it opens up outside of business objects, disconnected from business objects. And I am going to show you a little bit about this new technology now. This is a little blurb about the SAP UI5. It just says it's a user interface based on HTML5 and JavaScript. You know, it empowers developers to do wonderful things with dashboards that they could not have done before. And again, I'm going to emphasize the point. Why is this really interesting? It is interesting because you can share these dashboards with anybody that you choose. You can post them and embed them into sites and have them fully interactable. So let's go ahead and use my screen now. Am I still sharing or not? I
No,
need to.
you're not sharing. That has been my screen.
Yeah,
So,
I'm
see.
going to share.
And then, by the way, while Kevin is opening up his screen, we've got a black screen here. You will be prompted during the event with some questions. It's actually for people that have opened to take CPE credits. So don't be surprised if you have some questions that are popping up. So if you want to earn credits, you'll need
Mhm.
to answer them. So,
Yeah.
Kevin,
So
we
I,
see your screen.
yeah. So I know you guys, you know what dashboards are. I know you've created them and you're probably using them now. But what you see before you is something very, very typical, very common. It's a flat file from Web Intelligence, and it is what it is, right? People usually export this to Excel, but how do you make something like this a little more interactive, a little more usable, a little bit more visual appealing? How do you do that? Well, let's do this. For something like this, we have from the new WidX elements, we have something called microcharts. And I can turn any measure into one of four available microchart types. So you can see immediately this is what it was, this is what it is, or what it can be, and it's just a lot more visually appealing. And by the way, this thing will act on my selections over here and change accordingly dynamically. I can look at years. I can look at product lines. And by the way, this data is all about stores. It's a retail store operation. And so this is one aspect of how you can make boring data, boring linear data, a little more visually appealing using the new WidX elements. Sorry about that. I couldn't talk. There's another one I want to show you also. Let's put this one aside just for a moment, and let's go here. I'm going to open up another one. This one kind of takes us from linear data into something a little bit more different, which is visual. And here it is. So this is an example of a web intelligence dashboard that I have created. It's a simple dashboard, but all of these elements up here, I'm going to go into design mode. All of these elements here, like this one over here, this one here in the middle, all of these are uh, WidX elements. Over on the left side here under report elements, you're going to have BusinessObjects Web Intelligence now has separated the elements. And this first one, if I hover over it, it'll tell me display elements supported in Webi documents exclusively. The second collection, this one displays elements that are specific to Excel, PDF, or HTML. But the third one is the one we're talking about today. And this is the WidX supports WidX exports and such. And so I'm going to click on that one. Just real quickly want to show you the whole collection. I believe at last count there were something like 50 plus elements, WidX elements that you can use, scrollable tables, charts, lines, waterfalls, trend lines, pies, you name it, it's there. It's all there. But you can see the list is quite extensive, and it's going to probably grow because I can see where this technology is going to probably take off in the near future. What do you get? This is what happens when you do an export, and I'll show you what a real WidX dashboard looks like outside of business objects. So typically we would do this. We would do export. This is the new WidX export file format that we can choose. When I click WidX and I click export, it will export this to me. It'll export a WIDX file. All I have to do is double click that, open it up, and it'll show us the WidX. Let me double click it again. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Okay. That's nice. It's not opening. Let me put it over here and try to open it. It's strange. Let me get out of this and come back in. I'm so sorry. It usually happens in presentations. I don't know, Bruno. Do you think that's a function of this of the Zoom? But it's not opening. But anyway, moving on. What you see here in front of you is what you get, and again, I can consume it externally from BusinessObject, and I can still use my toggles and still have interactivity with the data. But honestly, folks, what you see here is what the WidX file really looks like. So it's really the same thing. It's just that now I'm in Web Intelligence. The WidX file is outside. And so how do you build these things? Let's take a look at the other one first, and that's this one, the micro charts. How do you build a micro chart? I'm going to start I'm going to start from scratch. I have a few minutes here. I think I have a couple minutes. I'm going to try to show you how easy this is to build. First of all, we need some elements. First of all, we're going to use a scrollable table. You can see how easy it is to go over here and select. I need a filter that's going to be the way I change, years to interact with my table. Put that over here. I'm just going to add all my elements first, and then I'm going to connect them and make them appear with data. So filter, toggle. Here I need a toggle. Let's put this up here. Excuse me, multi-list here. All right, let's build out the table of data. So here it is, and it says you need to feed the element with at least one object. Well, I'm going to use several objects, actually. So let's go here. And I'm going to choose category. I'm going to choose lines. I'm going to choose lines category. Let's see. There we go. And state and year. And then all of the measures, discount margin and quantity sold. I'm just going to drag them up into this little text box, and you'll notice that immediately they will appear. And I'm going to resize this table manually. Over here, the filter is kind of the same thing. I just need to assign it some data. So I'll do that. This one's going to be my filter on year. Last filter is going to be on product lines. Excellent. Size them up a little bit. Okay. The next thing I need to do then is make these filters or these toggle filters interact with my scrollable table. Same thing. I need to assign this filter, the year filter, to that scrollable table. And by the way, that scrollable table is block 2. Do you see it up here? Block 2. So we're going to assign this filter to block 2. And I do that over here. You see I'm in filter properties and I just select block 2. And now this interacts with that table. Let's go down here and do the next one on lines. Okay, again, over here on the right side, I will need to just assign this filter to the block 2. So now I have both of my filter elements attached to this table. We're going to do a little resizing on the table quickly here so I can see all the data. Cool. Again, data changes according to my toggles and my line selections. All right. Let's get these micro charts built. Sales revenue. All I have to do is click on the block once, click on the format object here, and there we go. Format, settings. Then I get a listing of my metrics. I'm going to use quantities sold, and I'm going to change it to one of the 4. Remember, one of the 4 microchart elements. There's a bar, there's a bullet, there's a Harvey ball, and a radial. I'm going to use quantity sold as a Harvey ball, and there it is immediately. So you see, it's just a couple clicks, and I have my visual analytic. Let's do the same thing for margin. Let's go back over here and choose margin. Let's change margin to the radial. Actually, I'm going to use margin as something else. I'm going to use margin as the bullet. Yeah, the bullet's nice because, yeah, the bullet's nice because what it shows is actual. The actual is the little vertical line here to a target value. And if I hover over this, I'm going to see my actual is 229 versus target of 259. So that. And then, did I not add sales revenue? We need to add sales revenue. There it is. I see it, but I can't get to it. There it is, sales revenue. So let's do this. Choose sales revenue. And let's choose the radial. There we go. All right. So I think that took a matter of about 7 minutes to put together this this particular dashboard style that's fully interactable or interactive, and it looks a heck of a lot better than just the regular, linear data in a flat file. So this is one example of how you can use microcharts to really elevate, the look of a plain old flat file. So to export this now to WidX, I come here, do export, choose WidX, export, I'll get my file and I can share it. So sharing is two ways. Sharing is manual. You can post it on an FTP or an SFTP site. You can send it manually to someone, some group, whatever. But the other exciting part is that it can be scheduled. So the scheduler will export the Webi document to the WidX format and distribute it to those sites that are required by the stakeholders. So I'm not going to go through that. Let's look at the creation of the store analytics. Kind of the same thing. Kind of the same thing here. We're going to start with a blank screen. We're going to go into design mode. Here's my list of WidX elements over here on the side. I'm going to need a couple filter items, filter elements in order to make my dashboard interactive. So I need a mono list. I need a multi-list. I need a filter toggle, and I'll explain what these are all in just a minute. Actually, I don't need this mono list. Get rid of that one. I need a trend line. Go up here to the trend. I need a comparison combined column and a comparison bar. But do you see what I did? I grab my element, I drag it in here, and now I just need to merely just assign objects to it, dimensions to it. Assign data. Let's make this one store. Store name, and they appear. I can finish the sizing later. This one is going to be margin by line. So I need margin or line. Start with lines. Let's do margin. There we go. We can enhance the size later. This one down here is going to be sales revenue and margin. And let's see here. There we go. And this guy over here is my filter. So I'm going to use year. I want to filter all this by year. And there we go. All right. Oh, last one, quantity sold in lines. And this is going to be lines. So I have all the elements of my finished dashboard here. And it's just a matter of, doing some simple formatting, dragging, making things look better visually, but you can see how easy it is. And another thing I like about this tool is that you notice when I drag and drop, you see the vertical lines, these alignment lines will help you keep things tight among all of these uh, analytics. There we go. You see it right there.
Mhm.
Another one here. There's the alignment line. I'm going to make my column a little bit bigger. Whoops. There. So even though, it doesn't look exactly like my finished product, it's pretty close. And it took me a matter of, I think, 5 minutes to put this together. And yeah, it's fully interactive now according to my selection on year. Same thing I'll get from my export to WidX here. Again, export WidX, choose it, export it, and it gives me a WIDX file that I can share. And that's it for the most part. I mean,
Thank you, Kevin.
the new widget framework and the new WidX elements are worthy of more thought. So thanks very much.
And yeah, it's just amazing to see how simple it is to create a dashboard now with BI 2025. And
A lot
Kevin, I
more
was just,
fluid, a lot more fluidity with it.
yeah, and then there you can actually use all your universe and all the benefits of Bobj. And then we had a couple questions. The first one is, I think I think Pavan was actually asking if WidX is like a third-party extension for visualization. So it's part of BI 2025.
Yes,
Is that correct?
that is correct. It is part of BI 2025.
Okay. And then as well, we have another question from David. Hey, David, who's actually one of our 500 plus customers who's on is can the WidX be scheduled to email to someone outside my organization or just a directory?
Oh, it can be scheduled to email, yes.
Okay.
Now,
And
yeah, go
yeah.
ahead. More questions. I was going to say the WidX files, you know, like this simple one here is about 10 megabytes when you export it to WidX. So the files, they carry a lot of technology with them to make them interactive when you're disconnected from business objects. So one needs to be, somewhat careful about the size.
And I mean, when we were prepping actually this webinar, chatting with you, I think one phenomenal use case is actually to use that for embedded analytics as well.
Oh,
So
absolutely. Should I give my analogy? My
yeah,
recent
go
experience?
for it.
I
It's
have a,
actually
I
really
have a
good.
real world life experience to share with everybody. I have periodic blood tests, right? I had one done the other day, and they sent me the results. They said log in. So I logged in, and I saw I selected my most recent results. And what I got was not a PDF. It wasn't a flat, just a static document with all my numbers. What it was just like this. I was able to select the elements of the blood draw, like the HDL, the LDL, the total cholesterol, the triglycerides, the albumin content, and more. And each time I made those selections, I could see my trend on that particular
Mm.
metric over time. And I thought that just blew my mind. I was like, wow, that was so good. Because I could actually then interact with an embedded widget, which was like this, very much like this, and I could see my trend on that dimension over years, which really was a heck of a lot better than me just seeing one number from 2 days ago. So
Yeah, that's a good use case. And I think another great one is you're now able to share to people outside your organization or someone who
yeah,
doesn't have Bobj actually this WidX, and then you have all the data behind. So that's why it can be interactive.
I
So
mean,
that is quite good.
think about what the federal government agencies are doing in the labs and the research work that they're producing. This could be, with scrutiny and security, of course, this could be shared with people that are interested in knowing more about that. And they don't have to log into Business Objects. All they can do is go to a particular site and
Right.
and look and consume that information. It's really exciting.
And one last point out of it, it is part of your BI 2025. So, I've had some feedback from customers saying, you know what? We were considering, let's say, Power BI, Tableau. Well, you can do that now with BobJ. So that's actually quite good. Let's take two last questions before we move on. From Mike, are there any browser requirements, limit to view WidX?
No, just your favorite browser.
And is it possible to use natural language query feature along with machine learning configuration BO 2025?
I knew that was coming. I don't know of any right now. I'm
David, do
sh
you know any?
Yeah, the natural language query features are not in BI 2025 as of now, but we do have them in the SAP Analytics Cloud product, but not in BI 2025.
And I'm quite confident is going to be in one of the next releases of BobJ. And then, by the way, on the Wiiisdom side, a lot of our customers use some of our metadata to feed to large language models as well for AI. We've got a couple questions for the CP credits. Shane, do you want to launch them now before we go on to the session of David?
Sure, I can go ahead and launch a couple. I'll go ahead and launch the first question, which is SAP has stated on-premise availability for business objects beyond which horizon?
So is it beyond 2027, 2029, 2030, and beyond, or there is no on-premise support? So, um, I think David is going to cover that, but essentially is there is it's quite far out to put it this way. So,
Yeah.
is there another question that you want to answer that you want to push?
Sure, I'll just give another minute for folks to get their answers in for this poll. Looks like most folks are saying 2030 and beyond.
That's the right answer.
Yeah.
And the reason that we got that as well, because there was a lot of miscommunication on that in the community. People did not know. So, and Dave is going to make some announcements after. Let's move on.
Alrighty, I'll go ahead and end that poll. All right, for the next question, it seems like which release is planned after BI 2025 and SAP's roadmap? So I'll go ahead and launch this question.
Well, is it going to be a 4.5, BI 2026, BI 2027, BI 5.0? I think it's something like every 2 years or something like that. So as long as you don't answer 3x, I think that's okay.
For sure.
So it's I think right now SAP is going to do something every 2 years. Let's get folks to answer on that. Okay. And
Alrighty.
are there more questions that we have to pass right now or not?
Sure, I think we could do one more
Okay, go for it.
real quick. All right,
Then
looks
we'll do the
like,
rest after the session of David. Go for it.
sure. Sounds good. Let me see this next question here. All right, third question. What is the new web intelligence artifact enabling offline browser-based consumption?
So is it WWID, PDFX? I don't know who came with all these crazy names. WidX? Sounds right. Or
HTMLZ.
HTMLZ. I mean, Kevin, is that you or is that David
Yeah,
who thought about that?
I thought that one up. That was me.
I knew it. I
Me,
knew
my
it.
creativity.
So is it .wid, PDFX, WidX that we just covered, or HTMLZ?
right.
Okay. Well, WidX is the right answer here.